In just a matter of hours, the top Republican candidates will face off in Des Moines, Iowa. It is the last contest before the state caucuses on February 1st. However, there will be one very notable absence on stage: Donald Trump.
Yep, the frontrunner is instead holding an event for veterans at Drake University.
This comes as a new poll shows the billionaire with 32% of Republican support in Iowa. Texas Senator Ted Cruz is in second place with 25%.
Joining us on the set is Kim Strassel from the Wall Street Journal. She writes the Potomac Watch column that appears weekly in the paper. So let's talk about this, Kim. You actually think that this is a bad idea on Donald Trump's part to boycott this this debate. I was thinking maybe it could work in his favor because he's polling so high. A bad performance might actually hurt him, so why bother risking it?
There is that possibility, and you never know with Donald Trump. He defies all the normal rules. Right. But my argument would be is that if you're not at the dinner table, you are on the menu. And all of his other candidates we've seen in the last week are increasingly emboldened to take shots at him. They're all going to be up there tonight making their criticisms, and he's not going to be there to defend against them.
Let's talk about the poll numbers. Donald Trump is ahead in the latest polls by 7 percentage points, but a new Iowa poll shows that 38% of likely caucus goers could change their minds between now and February 1st. So how does that play into all of this?
That's why this debate matters and why he probably should be there. Iowans notoriously changed their mind in the last week. You go back to 2012, Rick Santorum, a couple of weeks out, was at 7% in the polls. He finished with almost 25% of the vote and won. So you want to have this final debate. You want to be there and try to be the one that benefits from that mercurial spirit. And Donald Trump isn't going to. But you do see other candidates trying to position themselves to do so. Marco Rubio is suddenly turning on all the firepower in Iowa on the last week because he wants to benefit from that kind of last-minute sweep.
So what do you think this debate is going to look like without a Donald Trump? Because the previous debates have almost been like sort of two different debates. There was Donald Trump versus Ted Cruz, and then the quote-unquote establishment candidates duking it out separately. Without a Donald Trump, do they all turn on Ted Cruz? Do they continue to attack Donald Trump because he's not there to defend himself? What do you think?
I think you're going to probably have a lot of talk tonight, which may be easier to do in the absence of Donald Trump, about who is the more conservative candidate up on stage. And because that certainly plays well in Iowa, and we've been seeing that fight happening outside of Iowa as well, too. That's kind of dominant theme in the Republican. Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Jeb Bush, Chris Christie, everyone's going to be making the argument that they really encapsulate the Iowan conservative spirit.
We've seen Donald Trump make a lot of bold moves that people thought might backfire, and nothing seems to have backfired. We've also seen him stick to his position and not back down. Do you think there's a chance he could show up at the debate tonight?
Anything is possible, and it sounds as though Fox is certainly leaving open the possibility for him to be there, saying, come if you want to. Look, I think the bigger question is how many of those people out there that are showing up devotedly to these Donald Trump events are also devoted caucus goers. Because that gets to this question of whether or not it matters if he's there tonight. You know, if he's still trying to convince a lot of real caucus goers to attend, then maybe this hurts him. But if most of his people are just either going to show up no matter what, or they were never going to show up in the first place, maybe this is a bit of a wash.
You talked about how you think the debate will be a discussion about who's a true conservative and that Marco Rubio's doing quite well, improving. What about John Kasich? You know, he's, I think, been sort of called the adult in the room several times. Could he really benefit from not having the distraction of a Donald Trump, Ted Cruz brawl happening?
The fewer people that are ever on a stage, the better it is for everyone else because they get more attention. So everyone may benefit to some degree from Donald Trump not being there. John Kasich's challenge is, you know, he has focused his attention New Hampshire voters. They're a little bit more open to his message of being the adult, the moderate, the guy who can compromise a little bit. Does that play outside of New Hampshire, and in particular with the states that follow? I think that's a very tough sell, and that's going to be Kasich's difficulty in the months ahead.
All right. Kim Strassel, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Stick with CBSN tonight for full coverage of the GOP debate. We will bring you all the highlights, plus extensive pre- and post-debate analysis. That is tonight, starting at 7 Eastern.
And Monday, February 1st, we are your home for all things Iowa. We'll have full coverage of the caucuses throughout the day and night right here on CBSN.